All right. Let's start designing our website. We're actually looking at the Wix Studio. And in general, every site we build on Wix consists of three parts. The first part is actually the top part, which is the header. You see the header. Here, in most cases, we find our logo and the navigation menu. This is the first part. The second part is at the bottom. This part here. It's actually called the footer. And generally in the footer, we also place, again, a logo. You can put the same menu from the top, so people don't have to scroll back up to navigate to another page. Sharing with social links, structuring the site. You can put many more things here. What is important to remember, however, is that the header and footer look the same throughout the site. That is, if we go to the home page and change something in the footer or the header, we will see that it changes on all the pages of the site. In other words, the footer and the header are the only things that are on all the pages, and this is, of course, to maintain consistency on the site. The third part is actually the part below the header, and from there. Okay, regarding the number of sections and parts inside, that already depends on you. I want us to start from scratch and simply create a new page. Here we received a Wix template, so there is already content inside. And I want you to see what a new page looks like, right? When we create a new page, we will go to the page menu. And above the pages, we will click on Add Page, and it will ask us if we want any template, for example, Projects, General, and since we are starting from scratch, we will choose a blank page, meaning an empty page, and let it generate it for a moment. We can give it a name. Let's call it, for example, Custom Guitar, which is a unique and personalized instrument designed to meet your specific needs and preferences, crafted with the finest materials and attention to detail, ensuring a perfect blend of aesthetics and functionality. And this is our page. As I said, the header and footer always look the same. I add them automatically to every page we create, only this page is empty, without content. Let's actually understand how we start, how we can edit a new or existing page. Let's start with the footer. In general, with this space. So this background, as beautiful as it is, suits me less. As we discussed in the previous lesson, I can go to site design to page background. See, this is the current background, black. And I can set the background to be a different image or even a different color. So let's go with a color. Let's first see that it works. We'll decide on black. And you can see that the background has already changed from the image it was to a solid black color. Let's go with another color. Page background, color, choose a color from the palette. Okay, and you can see in real time the color changing and how it looks. Let's choose a color and apply it. Okay, confirm. Okay, and we can tell it to apply this to all pages. Great. If we close, let's see that it worked. We have a blue footer. Let's go to the home page. We see that here, too. It changes to blue. Okay, back to the page. Menu, custom guitar. Okay, so we have a footer, we have a header. Let's start with the header. So the header itself is actually a section on its own. You can see that when we highlight the site, we have the site itself. When we highlight the footer, it tells us it's the footer. Highlight the header. We know we're dealing with the header. Of course, you can enlarge it for those who want it bigger. And naturally, you can make changes to it. Let's start with the design. We simply click on the header. Okay, when we stand on it, we have a menu. Okay, and basically we can edit everything related to the header. Let's start with the appearance. This is, of course, the design. If we click on this button, we actually have the design options. For example, border, outline, corners, whether shadow, the fill color. Let's start with the fill color. When we see it's on black, let's change it to a color like in the footer. Once we've used the color, it automatically knows to add it. Okay, and here we've also changed the background of the header border. We see that although it has a black color, its thickness is 0. That's why we don't see a line. Rounded corners, none. And shadow, also none. Okay? So we have a different color. Let's edit the menu a bit. First of all, we have an element here. We see the dots. Okay? Points. Because there was no space, it placed it on the menu. Let's put it here on the side for now. Okay? Regarding the marks you see here, as soon as I dragged it, it showed me black lines. So, of course, in terms of Wix, there's what is called the safe area. And the areas that actually light up with black lines are less safe areas, meaning computers with low resolution or small screens might not display this element. Okay? But on larger, newer screens, it will be visible. And in terms of Wix, the area between the white dashed lines is the safe area. In other words, every computer with any display size will see what is here. All right, let's get started. So we actually now have the shopping cart. We have this feature for login or account management. We have the site menu, and because it's small and there's no space, instead of showing everything, it shows us more. And there's the logo. Let's start with the logo. First of all, I want to place a logo. That influences the design I'm building. So I'll just select what I don't want and delete it. The same goes for the text in the line. Let's say we want to upload a logo image. So we'll go to the plus sign. We'll simply select image here upload an image. It will take us to our media center. We'll search for the image. This is the main screen of your computer, commonly referred to as the desktop. Let's say this is the logo. It will upload it to the media center. This is the logo. Add to page. And it simply adds it for us. Okay? So of course, it's very simple. We have corners. I grab the logo and resize it to the desired size. And we'll align it within the safe area on the left side. Okay? We've changed the logo. Let's tidy up the menu a bit. We can give it a bit more space. Okay, and let's move on to dealing with the menu. So we actually see, first of all, that the menu extends to the right. Okay? And when we select it, we see several options here. So the first option, Manage Menu, will actually open the list of links that are inside the menu. Meaning, if we want to change names or hide something specific, we do it here. Meaning, if I want shop not to be shop, but to call it catalog, then we click on the menu, rename, and call it catalog. Okay, we will see that the text has changed, and we don't want any menu to open. We can simply remove them or hide them. In my case, I will remove. Okay? Regarding the import, yes. Let's change something shorter. About. Customer. Service. Please kindly change to service. And gift card and loyalty. For this marketing, let's learn how to hide. We might want them in the future, but not right now. We can simply choose hide from menu, and it won't remove them from here, but it will hide them from the menu. Okay, so they are still here. The users just don't see them. Okay, that's about editing the text. Of course, we can also edit the order. Meaning if we want the about to be second, we simply now drag it under home. If I want the catalog third, we drag it under about. Okay, custom guitar is fine, service is fine. And this is the new menu. So this is what we do with the manage menu. Okay, let's talk about the settings. So in the settings, we can actually edit various settings unique to the site. Let's save this for now. Let's go to the layout. Okay, do you notice? So the items in the menu are actually aligned to the right. Okay, this is because of the item alignment. When we click on left to right, it will move them to the left. Okay, what do you want it to say if there's no space? So we saw that it says more there. If we want the items in the menu to take up the entire width of the menu, all the available space. If we want all the items to be the same size, okay, and then even if it's a word with 7 letters, or if it's 2 words more, it will maintain the same size. It doesn't always look nice. And how do we want to center the item within itself? Okay. So right now it's set to the middle, and I'll explain shortly. Currently, the menu doesn't have any special color. Okay. It's simply white, but we have the option to edit it. Okay. If we click on the design icon in custom design, we can actually edit the button in 3 states. How it will look in a regular display, meaning what you see now. How it will look when you hover over it with the mouse, and how it will look when it's pressed, meaning on the current page. If we, actually go to regular, okay, and perhaps tell it that we just want it to have a little bit more of a different color. Okay, so there are a few things we need to do. First of all, the type of button. We see above, there are various types of buttons. This button is its type. It's just text without a background, without a specific design. We can change this if we choose a different type of button. Okay, and then it actually opens up options for the button's background, button transparency, and so on. We are now in regular, which is the normal state, and the button's background is white. Okay, let's say that in regular, we want the background to be like the background we gave to the header itself, okay, which is blue. Okay, now we will see that it seems like there is no background because of the color. If we go to hover, meaning when the mouse hovers, we see it changes to pink. We can also update this. This is the basic color of the site, and we will decide that it's an orange button. The third color is click. We see that actually the clicks is the page we are on. Let's decide that the page we are on will be updating just for demonstration, green. Okay, let's save. And simply just go quickly and effortlessly to the preview section and go to preview. Okay, so now, because I'm on the catalog page, this is actually the button that is lit up in green. I will hover over a link in the menu, and it will change to orange, which is what we requested. When the mouse hovers over the button, it appears orange to me, and all the pages where nothing happens will be in blue. So these are the 3 states: normal, right, when the mouse hovers, or when the link is clicked. Okay, since we just changed the type of button, the design has quite changed and looks less good. Now, let's style it. First of all, we can play with the fonts. Okay, what type of font it will be, what size. We can determine if there is a shadow. We see that there is a bit of shading. It's less attractive, so I'm removing the shading. We have rounded corners, okay, which we see are currently present. Soon we'll change the color and see it, and whether there will be any outline. So currently it's set to black, but we don't see it because the width is 0, and we have the color. Okay. Let's save and view the display. So these are the buttons. The shadow is no longer there. When we hover, we can see the color changes. And when we go to a specific page, it will be highlighted in green.